Center.
Today, a high of 36, should remain mostly cloudy, quiet, and chilly overnight with a low down to 28. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
It's 31 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Monday, January 23rd. It is 7 minutes after 9, and you're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. So there's this Kinks song that keeps coming in my head. Line in the song says, "Here we go round again. There's more, and there's more, and there's more."
I'm sorry. You said the song Kinks, like by the group, the Kinks.
Kinks.
I thought you said there's this kink song. And I was like, wow, what a way to start our Monday.
Anything to get more listeners, Rob. I'll do anything. No, it's the Kinks. Here we go round again.
I see. It's not nearly as fun as I had anticipated. Go ahead.
And that's what we're doing with President Biden. The DOJ officials found more documents with classified markings at his Wilmington, Delaware home. This was during a search on Friday. His personal lawyer said in a statement that the Justice Department was given access to the president's home after previous searches in recent weeks turned up 11 classified documents. He said the DOJ requested that the search not be made public in advance, and they were given access to the president's home, including personally written notes, files, papers, binders, memorabilia, to-do lists, schedules, and reminders going back decades. So what we really have learned is that our president is a hoarder.
They described this, his attorney, Biden's attorney, as a planned, these are the words he used, planned and consensual search.
It's like they're having a baby.
Because, Casey, nothing says fair and impartial administration of justice like letting the potential suspect in question know, hey, we're coming in at such and such a time, so if you could just be completely above board and not touch or manipulate anything, that'd be great. I guess I missed the planned and consensual search on Trump's home.
It was planned.
Well, it was not consensual. Yeah, what is going on here?
The search lasted about 13 hours, and the FBI conducted the search this time. They had not in the past. It had been all lawyers, but this time the DOJ was involved in form of the FBI. President Biden wasn't there, by the way. He spent the weekend in Rehoboth, Delaware, which is about 90 miles south of Wilmington.
How do these politicians have all these homes?
Because they have all this money.
Yeah, where does it come from?
Well, I think we're getting to the bottom of that, actually.
Okay, so my favorite part of all of this was the weekend talk shows.
Oh, they were loaded, weren't they?
We have to play some audio from Democrat senators. It is just we have three pieces of audio here. They're all just equally outstanding. And I want to start with Chris Coons, who is a senator from Delaware. And he literally tells ABC it's fine because Biden had no idea those documents were even there.
But how can he say he takes classified material seriously when some of what was found may have been in his home for more than a decade and he seemingly had no idea?
Well, the important point there, Martha, is that he had no idea. As you know, if you're serving in the Senate or as vice president or president, you literally get millions of documents coming through your office week in and week out. And as you get more senior and as the matters that you're handling are more important and occasionally more classified, the volume gets higher. So I do think this was inadvertent. The whole point of having a special counsel is to ensure that and to give the American people confidence in that. But frankly, Martha, I also don't think this is an issue that's keeping Americans up at night.
So which is more concerning, that he took the documents or that he had no idea that he took the documents? You know what it reminds me of? Family Matters.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that TV
Yes.
show?
Oh, yes.
And Urkel?
Yes.
When he used to say, did I do that?
Did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that?
One more.
Did I do that?
There we go. 4 times now. Documents have been found. Did I do that?
Hey, real quick, can I just say, speaking of Urkel, Reginald Vell Johnson, who played Carl Winslow on Family Matters, also played Al Powell in Die Hard, is back on commercials. I think it's Geico.
Yeah.
He is like featured in, I think it's a car insurance commercial, and I think it's Geico. And it is so great to see Reginald Vell Johnson because I had no idea what had happened to him. And now he's back making the big bucks again.
Now you know.
Doing mega commercials.
For Geico.
Okay, that was clip 1. Clip 2. A random, confused, likely accidental act of journalism over at CNN. They had Dick Durbin, who is a senator from Illinois, and they, I love this, I have no idea why they did this, but it's great. They showed him a clip of himself saying how outraged he was over Trump's handling of documents. Then he tries to say he's not as outraged over Biden because, well, it's different.
I want to play something that you said last year about the classified documents found at his Mar-a-Lago resort.
It's an outrage. It is a literal outrage for the president to take this important information down to his home in Florida and then store it in a closet with traffic, people back and forth in his resort and golf course is an outrage.
Is it also an outrage for the current president to have what appears to be multiple classified documents in multiple locations?
At its heart, the issue is the same. Those documents should not have been in the personal possession of either Joe Biden or Donald Trump. But what happened and followed from it is significantly different.
Lock and key in Florida, bad. Wet garage, Delaware, that's okay. That's good.
All right, so our last piece of audio, and this is the question that I had, and again, to credit the media actually asking these senators these questions, is how does a senator even, because these items they are claiming came from when Joe Biden was in the Senate. How does a senator take classified material home? And they asked Tim Kaine, who's a senator from Virginia, also a Democrat, and he said, no idea.
Senator, yesterday for the 5th time, we learned about this other tranche of classified information being kept at the president's personal residence. How does a senator accidentally take classified material home?
Margaret, I don't really know the answer to that question because I review classified material as a senator on the Armed Services and Foreign Relations committees, but when I do it, it's always in a classified facility where I don't have access to the materials other than to sit there and read them. So that's why there needs to be this independent investigation, an independent prosecutor. How many documents are we talking about? Dozens, a handful, or hundreds? How serious are they? Why were they taken? Did anyone have access to them?
Okay, so from what I've been able to find is that the government has 3 levels of classification. They are confidential, secret, and then top secret.
Oh.
The lowest level could damage national security. The other 2 refer to information that is serious, secret, or exceptionally grave if it were to get out.
Oh.
That's top secret.
There you go.
It's the highest level. And deciding what information is classified apparently is subjective, and the different agencies disagree about different classifications all the time.
Okay. Hey, when we come back, there was a funeral over the weekend, celebration of life, whatever you want to call it, for Diamond, of Diamond and Silk. And it went completely off the rails. And I have a question for you about funeral etiquette.
Okay, that's coming up from 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Tony Katz.
It's best, Mr. President, that you don't know what you're guilty of. It's best that you not know that these documents pertain to conversations regarding Ukraine, where your son was having business dealings and making millions of dollars, and now they, meaning the free and thinking world, can connect your classified document, the classified documents in your possession, to things that may exist on your son's laptop.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
2023's here, and does your home have a New Year's resolution? Well, if it's like mine, it could probably use a fresh beginning and a professional clean. In my book, there's nobody better than the professionals at Zero Res. They're my go-to team for cleaning carpets, hardwood floors, ceramic tile and grout, and even area rugs to give it that smart, lasting clean. They always have our place looking its best, and Zero Res is the only company I trust to clean my home. Their proprietary technology cleans your carpets without flooding the carpet padding. That means I can have my house looking its best with dry carpets in just a few hours, not days. Their team of knowledgeable technicians always walk me through the entire carpet cleaning process to make sure I'm completely satisfied before they leave. So start your 2023 off right and give Zero Res a call today to make an appointment. Right now, when you mention WIBC, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $139. Call 388-5141 or schedule your appointment at ZeroResIndy.com with promo code ZeroRes1 and treat yourself to a smarter, lasting clean.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 38,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers. E-waste piling up? Visit tech-recyclers.com. You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's out of control.
And Casey Daniels.
Isn't she the best?
On 93 WIBC.
There it is. Here we go round again. 18 minutes after 9, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and let's take a look at some trending stories.
Hey, real quick, before I do that, that's the Kinks, right?
Yeah, that's the Kinks.
All right, well, since it's a day and you preemptively stole my Harry Chapin day, let's challenge Kevin to see if he can come up with, what would we be? We'd need like 8 more songs from the Kinks.
Kinks songs?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what, there's a couple super hits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your challenge today. It's Kinks Day.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what we're just doing it for. Everybody's going to have a day going forward.
Okay.
And then we'll just run out of days, and then we'll just recycle the days. But I guess preemptively, Kevin just took it into his own hands.
Mm-hmm.
And
He found the song.
I kind of forgot about Harry Chapin Day.
Well, you're going to get it. You're going to get it tomorrow, buddy.
I could turn things around.
No,
right here.
No, Kevin. You just keep forgetting about Harry Chapin Day.
Let's see if you can come up with 8 more songs from the Kinks that people would recognize. All right.
I think we should throw that out to our listeners and let them decide what day it should be.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. These people.
317-684-8444. You pick.
I don't know about that.
These people have enough power as it is. So, no, don't call. The phone lines need to be open for the topics we discuss, Casey.
Okay.
Go ahead with the trending stories.
Chris Cuomo's trending. He says he was emotionally and psychologically beat up after being fired from CNN. That was in a recent interview. Also trending is the Pantone color of the year. You know, every year Pantone comes out with their new color. This year's color is 18750 Viva Magenta. It is a hot pink color.
Remember when you get those box of crayons when you were a kid? Mm-hmm. And there'd be like, for Christmas, if your grandma would get you the super duper box,
the 64 box with the sharpener in the back.
Yeah, but is that how they did it in the 60s? Was that the big giveaway?
In the 60s, I wouldn't know.
For those of us who grew up in the 90s, there was like 180 crayon box, and there were all sorts of like hyper, octo, magenta, red 7. Who would need a hyper octo magenta red 7? Well, I don't even know what color you just described to me.
It's a hot pink, Viva Magenta.
Why didn't they just say hot pink?
It's brave and fearless.
Our color of the year is hot pink?
Well, because they have to give it a better name than that.
I see. Yeah, you got to sell stuff, right?
Yep. Finally trending, Pamela Anderson. She is claiming that Tim Allen flashed his parts to her while on set of Home Improvement when she was 23 years old. She also claims that the stolen sex tape of her and Tommy Lee ruined their relationship, and he was the one true love of her life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they were just the staple of dependable and reliability, and that sex tape is what did them in. Just neither one of them were on drugs of any sort. I'm sure neither one of them were being promiscuous. Yes, absolutely, Casey. I wholeheartedly believe that, and that statement makes me believe everything else that you just said.
She's got a new book out. It's called, well, actually, it's on pre-order. You can order it. It's called Love Pamela, and it's about her life as a mother, an activist, and an actress. And she's super proud of the book.
Because when you think Pam Anderson, I am super interested in her life as a mother and an activist, right? I am sure they are flooding a local Barnes & Noble to learn about Pam Anderson's life as an activist.
It is 21 minutes after 9. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. And the memorial for Lynette Diamond Hardaway, which is half of the pro-Trump vlogging duo Diamond and Silk, that took place this weekend. And it took a dark turn when Silk, the remaining half of Diamond and Silk, detailed her sister's final moments. And she alluded to nefarious activities and cause of death.
Okay, so I'm going to play you the audio because I'm not sure it did take a dark turn, and that's what I want to ask you is if it took a dark turn.
Okay.
Because it's very clear if you kind of parse through this, they think she was killed by the vaccine, basically. The COVID vaccine.
Yep.
So let's play this audio. It's a little long, but it's totally worth it. And then I have a funeral etiquette question for you because I want to determine if indeed it did take a dark turn. Go ahead.
And another thing. Instead of asking if Americans are vaxxed or unvaxxed, the real question to ask is, are Americans being poisoned? In the wild, when they want to depopulate and sterilize a large group of animals, they usually inject one animal. And then that one animal infect the rest of the animals. So technically, and according to the science, it doesn't matter if you're vaxxed or not. As long as the gain of function allows one injected person to transfer and infect another person, and that person infect another person, eventually everyone will be affected in one way or the other. So, in case some of you been hiding under a rock or still stuck in denial, people are dropping dead around here. And nobody's talking about it. They're dropping dead suddenly and unexpectedly. The catchphrase is SAD, S-A-D, sudden adult death syndrome. Many call it a conspiracy theory. I call it murder.
Okay, that was so, I guess, awkward before we get into the funeral etiquette question that, because, you know, Trump's never one to play fast and loose with the truth. So there's all these pictures, obviously, because these women did all these Trump rallies. They were at the White House together. There's like a gajillion photos of them with Trump. That was so awkward that Trump gets up and speaks at this woman's eulogy, funeral, whatever you want to call it. And he tries to go, yeah, I don't even know that Silk lady.
And, you know, the world has lost one of its brightest stars, real star, but I see that we have another star who is equal to, but she stepped up and she is different. I'm serious. I thought I knew them both. I didn't. I knew Diamond, but I didn't know Silk at all. I just learned about Silk. You're fantastic. You're going to carry on beyond anybody's wildest imagination.
So I don't know if he was trying to say, well, I just learned that you were spitting fire, which that's clearly not true. They've been at all his rallies. And that's another conversation.
Do you think he meant I didn't know the real her? I got to know her better.
They were at the White House in the Oval Office, Casey. They spoke at all his events. There's tons of photos of them together. This is why Trump cannot be in charge of anything, because I didn't even know this lady. I learned so much. Bull. But that's not what I want to ask you. What I want to ask you is funeral etiquette. Because some people might hear what Silk said and go, well, that's kind of inappropriate. It was a funeral. It's to memorialize this person and remember her fondly. If you believe something strongly and you believe the person that you're eulogizing would have wanted you to say this out loud, are you violating some sort of etiquette rule by taking a funeral to launch into something the way that Silk did?
Right.
Should I just get up there and say, Jason Hammer was the greatest guy that ever lived, and that's it? We don't, of course, want anything to happen to Hammer, but that was just the first name that popped in my head. Sorry, Hammer. Or if something happened and you say, I believe this happened to my friend, and my friend would want me to speak out about it. Do you have an obligation to shut up and say nice things at a funeral, or can you
carry on their work?
Yes.
Okay, I did look at this, and the etiquette is that you should personalize it, and that should only be led by the next closest of kin. So this is her sister, her dynamic duo partner, right? They were in the trenches together. And so Silk knew Diamond best.
Yes.
And it would be up to Silk to lead that narrative, which she did.
See, people say, well, it took a dark turn. Well, what if that's what she thought? Here's the thing, Casey. If I die under suspicious circumstances, and you are giving my eulogy,
it wouldn't be up to me. It would be up to your wife.
No, I'm telling you right now on public airwaves that you can hear from Ohio to Illinois and all points in between. You make sure everyone knows who the most likely culprits are of my untimely death. You say Holcomb was a terrible governor. Todd Young is a terrible senator. You let these people have it. You do what you think I would want done.
Okay.
And I'm telling you right now, you have my permission to do that.
You heard it. Well, I hope nothing happens to you ever. So we don't have to go down that road.
You're about like one of 5 people who would actually say that and mean it.
I'm a fan. But it should be with your wife's permission. Because if she says, no, I'm done, I don't want to go there anymore, then we have to respect that.
I'm giving you permission, Casey. If I die under suspicious circumstances, no
matter what you want, he told me to do it.
You make sure that I go out letting Holcomb and Todd Young and the rest of those underachievers know exactly what I thought of them.
In a blaze of glory. All right, we've got the news coming up next from 93 WIBC.
Don't miss B Windows year-end sale. Get up to $2,000 energy tax credit plus a federal tax credit.
Your home will save energy every day with new energy-efficient B windows, added insulation with B siding, or an energy-efficient B entry door, or add beauty with a B bath.
And get 50% off plus 22 months, no interest, no payments.
Hurry, B's year-end sale and energy credit ends soon.
We love it when a home comes together. Trust me.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. Get started for just $40 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now boarding.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 100 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
So what's next? Cloudy with some light snow showers falling downtown. It's 31. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. More documents found inside of President Biden's home in Delaware over the weekend.
We can now report that President Biden plans to spend next weekend at Camp David. This, as there are reports, the Justice Department is considering searching other properties that are linked to the president. One interesting point, we do not know how this latest search initiated. The statement from Bob Bauer, the president's personal attorney, says the Biden team offered prompt access in the interest of moving forward expeditiously.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. Police are calling 2 civilians heroes for disarming the suspect in Saturday's fatal mass shooting in Southern California. According to authorities, 2 people wrestled a pistol with a large capacity magazine from the suspect as he arrived at a second location. Authorities also say that they've identified 72-year-old Hu Can Tran as the Asian man who opened fire near a Lunar New Year celebration at a dance club, leaving 10 people dead. And now a stock report. We're in the green to start the week. The Dow was up 75 points to 33,543. The Nasdaq up 1.5 to 11,678. And the S&P 500 is up 2.5 to 3,991. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Mark Dietel is the only real estate agent I trust to sell my home. How about Judy in Greenfield? She was moving out of town, had a problem. She needed to sell her house fast. And she also needed all the equity for her new place. So she needed a great price and needed it quick. She heard about Mark Dietel on our show, and his team went above and beyond to market Judy's home like crazy. Home sold in 9 days at list price.
The best in the business is Mark Dietel. Why? Because he offers you the guarantee. Mark Dietel guarantees an offer in 3 days at full market value, or he will list it for free. That is the Mark Dietel guarantee. Call him right now, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep Central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Let me take you on a little trip. My supersonic ship's at your disposal if you feel so inclined.
All I got to say is if Lola does not make an appearance today, you're in big trouble, Kevin.
I mean, that's one of their more famous songs,
Right.
isn't it? Mm-hmm. You didn't think I was going to play it?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying the fact that I have gifted the both of you with this terrible music. I guess it's the Kinks Day because Kevin went into business for himself.
Well, that was your call.
Well, you'd already started it, Kevin. You'd already played the song.
What I'm going to say about your little comment about Lola, I'm kind of setting this up like a concert. So
you want to wait.
The best songs are saved for last. You know, that will be like probably not the encore, but it will be like second to last.
Because, the end of Lola is one of the great lines in music history where it goes something like, I know what I am, I'm glad I'm a man, and so is Lola.
Okay.
And there you go. And that's how we walk off stage today. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Mic drop.
Hi, good night, everybody.
You know who else is walking off stage? Ron Klain.
Yes.
The White House Chief of Staff. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. It's 9:34. So Ron Klain has spent 2 years as President Biden's top aide, and now he's saying bye-bye. And his departure is coming as the White House is struggling to contain the fallout of the classified documents coming out. And this is the first member of Biden's cabinet to step down. Biden's actually been praised for this, that no cabinet members have left his administration up until this point. So here's the question. Is Ron Klain leaving the sinking Titanic, or is he being asked to walk the plank?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because now the new thing in these cabinet level positions is, and you see this especially with like the press secretaries, you go in there, you're there for a year, maybe 2, whatever, and then you skedoodle on out and get a TV show or go work at a news station or you write a book and you make a whole bunch of money, which again comes back to the thing of being in government is a super profitable proposition. And if you are Ron Klain, okay, so you're through the midterms. They staved off catastrophe, and the ship, even if the ship doesn't sink, it's sputtering into shore. The next 2 years with these investigations, whatever, are likely to be a huge disaster. And you see, a little pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. Why wouldn't you take it?
Get out while the getting's good. So they have selected his replacement. His name is Jeff Zients. That's going to be the next chief of staff, and he is the former COVID-19 response coordinator.
Of course he is, right?
Yeah.
They never pick somebody like, this person has been, the point is this guy is super wealthy, by the way. Market Watch had a thing about this guy's wealth, and he's worth like $442 million or something like that.
Who, the new guy or the old guy?
The new guy.
The new guy coming in?
Yeah, and now the article, I guess you only got one free article, and it asked me to pay $1 a week, and I'm sorry, Market Watch, I'm not paying you $1 a week. So I can't see the article again, but yes, this guy is a super wealthy dude. And Casey, we've said this before, the old saying, new year, new me, where every year you're supposed to resolutions or whatever. My new year, new me is I need more wealthy friends because let's face it, I've been hanging out with poor people and it's just
not doing you any good.
It's not getting me anywhere.
Okay, so this guy, he was the acting head of the Office Management and Budget, and then he was asked to take over healthcare.gov website in 2013, and then he was later on the National Economic Council for the Obama White House, and then he was Biden's COVID-19 response coordinator. So he's been in government for a long time as well, and he's got how much money?
Oh, yeah, so Fox News has it. You don't have to pay for Fox News. This is perfect. He disclosed in April 2022 that he owned between, and this is the other thing I love about government financial disclosures. It's always some range. So listen to this range that this guy put. Now, it's not like he owned between $89 and $91 million. He owned between $89.3 million and $442.8 million.
That's a bit of a range, huh?
Yes, that is a bit of yes, Casey. That is a bit of a range. That would be a good way to put it.
Ron Klain is preparing to leave the White House sometime after the State of the Union address on February 7th.
Okay, here would be something interesting. All right. And I've long wondered this, just like with coaching. I've said, Jim Irsay, this is what Jim Irsay should do with the Colts this next year.
Yeah.
Is that he should pick a random fan, a season ticket holder. Like if you're a season ticket holder, you are in this lottery. And if we choose you, you get to coach the team. And if the team does better than 4-12-1, which is what they were this year, with a regular coach, regular fan as the coach, the Jim Irsay has to sell the team because clearly it's your terrible choices are the reason the team is doing so bad. I think we should do this with the government. We should pick random people for these positions. Like just maybe they're Republicans, maybe they're Democrats. We don't know. You're in the lottery. We're drawing names. And if the random ass people off the street can do a better job, we'll set some parameters to judge better. Then the president has to quit if the random people off the street can do a better job.
Are doing better?
Yes.
Isn't that like
what do you think?
Volunteering for tribute?
I like that idea because I think the random people could do a better job.
Former President Donald Trump is urging lawmakers to prevent Democrats from digging into entitlement programs to pay for Biden's, quote, reckless spending spree. So he said this in a campaign video. He posted this on Truth Social on Friday, and he vowed to protect seniors and hardworking American families by saving Social Security and Medicare.
So he said, we'll read what he said here first because I don't want to be misquoted. The pain should be borne by Washington bureaucrats, not the hardworking American families and American seniors. The seniors are being absolutely destroyed in the last 2 years. Cut the hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars going to corrupt foreign countries. Cut the mass releases of illegal aliens that are depleting our social safety net and destroying our country. Cut the left-wing gender programs from our military. Cut the billions being spent on climate extremism. Cut waste, fraud, and abuse everywhere that we can find it, and there's plenty of it. Then he goes on to say, but do not cut the benefits our seniors worked for and paid for their entire lives. Say Social Security, don't destroy it. Okay, here's the problem. You could cut, and I agree with him, right? Nobody agrees with him more on the first part of that. But it won't matter. We are $31 trillion in debt. And you can cut all that discretionary spending you want. In fact, you could almost cut all the discretionary spending. Even the stuff that people go, oh, yeah, that's great use of money. Until you are going to fix entitlement reform because they are going broke, right? This is the conversation that no one wants to have, which is that our entitlement programs have become legalized vote buying operations, and they are simply unsustainable. And the fact that these politicians, of which Donald Trump was the president, so he knows this, just keep going, well, you can't this or you can't that. You are lying to future generations. It is not going to be there. Math tells you it is running. They are running out of money. And when you just keep going, well, you can't cut this, and you keep giving massive increases, which Social Security did because of cost of living this past year, you're just depleting the fund. I mean, it's just an intellectually dishonest thing to say you can't make any cuts or reforms to this program. For somebody 30, for Kevin's, because Kevin is 27, the idea that Social Security is going to be there as it exists today when Kevin turns, whatever it is, 62 or whatever, 35 years from now, that's laughable. You are being intellectually dishonest with Kevin and people from Kevin's generation that this is just going to exist.
Well, Trump's point is that you need to be cutting other areas.
It doesn't matter, Casey.
To keep Social Security.
No, it doesn't matter. This is what I'm saying. That entitlement, because it's its own fund, is so going broke. Like it's its own thing, and it's unsustainable. It is such a massive part of our federal spending that you could cut all the other discretionary spending. It doesn't matter. You have to address all the stuff. And for Trump to be out there going, well, you shouldn't touch this. You shouldn't reform this. You should have an honest conversation, even with someone my age, because I'm not sure, I'm older than 10 years older than Kevin. I'm not sure my generation even is going to see it, much less his. And we should have enough respect for people Kevin's age or people my age to be
honest with them and look, you got to plan something else.
Exactly. We've got to make changes to this in order to ensure it continues to exist. Like if you came to me right now and said, Rob, I will give you every penny you have put into Social Security and you can do with it as you wish, and then you don't pay into it anymore, and you don't get it at the end. Great, absolutely. The whole thing's a giant scam. Anyway, it's basically a Ponzi scheme. This is why I get so upset with Trump. He knows better. He knows the math. He was the president, and he's saying intellectually dishonest things because he wants people's votes.
Well, right. He's saying things that people want to hear. Yeah, let's cut other areas and keep Social Security. And a lot of people, would agree with that and vote for him based on it. But Joe Manchin was telling CNN that spending cuts should be on the table for everything.
So just to be clear, you think that the White House should come to the table and talk to Republicans about some cuts in spending in exchange for raising the debt ceiling?
At the time, Vice President Joe Biden did exactly that.
But you just heard Dick Durbin, the number 2 Senate Democrat, saying times are different now. It should be.
We just respectfully disagree. Okay. And the only thing about it is every American has to live within a budget. If they don't, they're in trouble financially. Every business that's successful has to live within a budget. Every state has to live within a budget. Shouldn't the federal government have some guardrails that say, hey, guys, you're overreaching here and you're overspending?
But he just voted to do more of it, Casey.
I know. He's such a fair weather fan. It's like, where is the wind blowing today? He got what he wanted. He voted for that $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill, secured what he wanted for West Virginia, stayed in office, right?
Yes.
Got what he wanted. And now he's saying we have to cut.
Yes. And I want to see him run, because he's up for election here in 2024, to run on cutting government spending. I want to see him go back to West Virginia and run on cutting government spending, because everything he does and everything he votes for involves more money for his home state.
Yeah.
Casey.
Yeah.
when we come back. I have a question. I was watching a television show on Friday and Saturday, and something happened there, and I have a question for you about how you would handle if this thing happened to you.
Okay, it's coming up. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Hammer and Nigel show back this afternoon. Biggest stories in Indy, and it's Monday Gun Day with Guy Relford. 93 WIBC.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 8. Learn the answers to frequently asked financial questions and get the latest investment news to help you get the most of your money. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
I don't always black out when I'm drunk.
My kids can't tell that I'm high, so it's okay.
I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink in the morning.
I still have a job, so my drug use isn't a problem.
I can stop using whenever I want.
Don't ignore the signs of addiction. You don't have to wait until it's too late to get help. At Landmark Recovery, we're here to provide affordable and effective addiction treatment. Call 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com to get help today.
Of course I love my parents, I really do, but often felt angry with them because I was always screaming so they could hear me on the telephone. All that has changed thanks to the CapTel phone from Relay, Indiana. We're so much better off because now my parents can read what I'm saying on the CapTel caption telephone. Our conversations are pleasant because through voice recognition technology, my words appear to them on an easy-to-read screen right on the telephone. Thanks, Relay Indiana.
Learn more at relayindiana.com.
Well-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC.
As long as I gaze on Waterloo sunset.
9:48. Good morning. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob had a big weekend watching On Patrol Live. I watched Blue Hawaii, by the way, Friday night. I will tell you, I just have to get this out there.
Yes.
I had never seen Blue Hawaii,
right,
the Elvis movie, before. And there's a scene in there where he spanks a 17-year-old girl.
Uh-huh. Was she really 17 or just 17 in the movie?
Well, she was 17 in the movie. I don't know her real age.
Well, there's a big difference.
But he put her over his knee and spanked her. She was a real sourpuss, and he was giving her some tough love.
Yeah.
And tried to turn her around.
I tried desperately to get Kevin to randomly show up at your house on Friday about 9:30. I thought would be a good time for him to just knock on the door.
Yeah, I know Casey kind of invited me, but I wasn't sure if it was official invite.
Kind of invited.
So I just played it safe and I didn't show up.
Yeah.
But
bro, if there's any doubt, you invite yourself. That's how this operates.
Yeah.
Make them kick you out.
And I was going to bring wine and all kinds of stuff.
That would have been good. Rob knows that. Just show up. That's what I did to his house.
Yeah. I'll have to keep that in
He
mind.
didn't think I was serious until I showed up. He was like, "Oh, okay."
By the way, speaking of, and then we'll get to this question that I have for you.
Mhm.
Kevin sent me a photo of is this what you got at the Russian deli that time?
Yeah, it was a Bulgarian beer.
Okay, so he's holding this thing in his palm,
Mhm.
and it's like a gigantic bottle.
Yeah.
And I noticed on the thing, so this is from Bulgaria.
Yeah,
Purchased
correct.
at a Russian deli.
Correct.
And I noticed, I said, there is no alcohol by volume listed on this beverage, which I was under the impression that anything sold in this country, if it was alcohol, had to have an alcohol by volume listed, but maybe I misinterpreted that because why else would every provider, whether it's beer, whether it's vodka, whether it's, tequila, whatever, it's got an alcohol by volume listed. So there has to be a reason that they all do that. They don't all just do that out of the goodness of their heart.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I just thought since it was an import, it's from Europe, I thought maybe they don't do that everywhere. Like they don't include the alcohol by volume.
How much poison you're putting into your body?
Yeah, but you were saying that that's something that's regulated, or like in order to sell it here, they would have to have it, right?
I'm just guessing that it must be, and maybe if someone is prominent in the liquor industry or has knowledge of this, they could let us know.
We have a guy, Brad Klopfenstein.
That's right, Klopfenstein could let us know.
Yeah.
317-684-8444. There has to be a reason that everyone else does it.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't just, even if it's, 5% alcohol by volume, if it's a light beer or whatever, they still list it all the way up to, whatever it is, 40% or whatever.
But the real question is, Kevin, were you hungover?
Yeah, how bad was it?
No, actually, I wasn't. And I had a couple margaritas before that at a Mexican restaurant nearby.
Look at him. He's mixing and everything.
Yeah.
To be young.
That's very disappointing. I'd anticipated you waking up in a ditch somewhere after you drank that.
No, I felt great.
That's so maybe somebody can let us know if that is a law where you have to put the alcohol by volume, and if not, how the Bulgarian
how they get away with it.
How they're getting away with that.
At the Russian deli.
Yeah, it was a very good beer. I'll just say that.
All right. So here is my question for you. Speaking of drinking, my Fridays and Saturdays now consist of watching On Patrol Live until midnight and then going to bed.
Right.
This is the show Dan Abrams hosts it. Sean Sticks Larkin is on there. It used to be Live PD, and then it went away because everybody got mad at the police, and now they brought it back as On Patrol Live. And they just follow various police departments across the country around. They're there live, so theoretically anything can happen. Beech Grove is one of the police departments that is on this show. They pulled this guy over on Saturday who was pretty obvious.
Was he in Beech Grove?
No, this was not. I can't remember exactly. I think this was in Virginia, but I could be wrong. Maybe South Carolina. Doesn't matter. Anyway, this dude was driving the wrong way on the road. He had very clearly driven off the road. His girlfriend, it appeared, had tried to help him push out of a ditch, and then obviously people had seen this, called the police. They show up. So this guy is getting questioned. His attorney will be super excited with him because he was playing total hardball with the cops. He wasn't taking any breathalyzers. He wasn't saying anything. The cop was getting very angry at him. He's like, "Bro, you're clearly messed up." And he just would sit there with big giant eyes and stare at him. And I said, this guy's attorney is going to love this dude because he's giving him a chance to win the case. So I'm sitting there watching this guy, though, because it's like this awkward silence with this cop. And this guy clearly knows he's on TV because the cameras are there. You almost got the
bright light right in your face.
Since he knew the TV show. And so I'm thinking, okay, getting arrested or accused of a crime or whatever would be bad enough. But can you imagine being on television
while it's happening? Live television.
That would be just totally mortifying.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, Casey, what would you do if you were on live television while you were either getting arrested or being investigated with the strong potential of being arrested?
Yeah, pass out. I would be absolutely mortified. I like to think that I've got more personal pride than to put myself in that position.
Yeah.
But if it were to happen, I think I would just pass out. I mean, you got to keep in mind that I have spent 30 years of my life making a living off of having a presentable demeanor.
Yes.
To be sponsored.
Yes.
Sponsorable content.
Yes, absolutely.
And then if I were on nationwide TV getting busted, I would just want to disappear. I would completely disconnect from my body. I think during and after. And after, I would go live in a tent in the woods somewhere.
Well, that is
where nobody knows me.
That is an interesting point, right? Because like there was one guy who was so drunk he couldn't even do the breathalyzer. Like they kept going blow, 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 blow. He could not properly execute. And at some point, that person, someone knows that person, right?
Sure.
Now, I'm guessing this guy didn't have as much to lose as, say, you would. Like, his career may not be over. I'm guessing this guy was not working in a medical field of some sort, or certainly not a television or radio personality. But you're forever the dude who couldn't blow...
Right.
You know, could not execute the breathalyzer on live television. This guy who was pulled over, now whether he gets out of it, who knows, but... It was pretty obvious the dude, there was something going on with this guy who's awkwardly getting basically berated by a cop on live PD.
Yeah, like Iron Mountain, Michigan in the Upper Peninsula by Lake Superior is not far enough away. Like I would have to completely disappear so that I never heard about it again.
Kevin, have you ever been arrested?
No, I have not.
That shocks me.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've done pretty well, actually.
Have you ever been interrogated by a police officer?
No. I've actually, the closest I've had to
Well,
that,
I got no content left because I thought that was totally going to be...
I've gotten pulled over once, and I got a speeding ticket.
Just once?
Yeah, just once.
Good for you.
I'm a pretty good driver.
Kevin's a good citizen.
Good
and
for
all
you.
the bad stuff he did was over in Germany, so there is no proof that any of it...
That's true.
International. I'm assuming no.
No,
never.
I have received a speeding ticket, but I have never been interrogated by a police officer for any sort of alleged criminal behavior that I can remember. It may have happened at 3 in Broad Ripple, and I just don't recall. But as far as I know, no.
Hey, we've got Nikki Kelly joining us next from Indiana Capital Chronicle.
Oh, and we're talking about how, well, my words, shifty it appears the Indiana Economic Development Corporation is.
There it is. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
So, the other day, I bought an extremely chatty...
Story time!
Make that an extremely catty cockatoo.
You're welcome!
Apparently, the pet store won't take it back. But, hey, I'll manage.
I love that for you!
Just like I manage without home internet.
No, you don't!
Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable.
Aw, Bertie likes to stream!
But I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
My lady friend! It's mating season, duh!
No home internet? It's not that bad.
No, not there.
It is that bad. Don't settle. Switch to Xfinity and get one line of unlimited mobile and home internet together for $50 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit your local Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, equipment tax, and fees extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of data usage. Offer ends 3/21/23.
Love. It makes us do crazy things, like being the first one to say, I love you, or adopting a cat together when you're more of a dog person. Celebrate the madness of love with a perfect Valentine's gift from Helzberg Diamonds. Right now, half-carat diamond heart pendants in your choice of white, yellow, or rose gold are just $399.99, a savings of $500. Show her you're smitten with the gift of gorgeous jewelry at our best prices of the season. Hurry, Valentine's Day is Tuesday, February 14th. Shop at Helzberg.com or visit a store near you.
The new year is here. Time for a change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand IT field with My Computer Career. In just months, already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus, and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Coming up in 2 minutes, you're in for some snow this week. The timeline and what to expect from the National Weather Service, plus where 2 people were killed in a crash overnight, and a shipwreck that you probably never knew about in the Ohio River in an effort to save it. I'm Kurt Darling. All that and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Will they search the Biden beach house next? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After more classified documents were found Friday at President Biden's Wilmington, Delaware home, there are reports.
The Justice Department is considering asking to search other locations linked to the president. But we know from the White House counsel's office that the Wilmington search on Friday began with an offer from the president to scour everywhere, from bathrooms and bedrooms to the utility room.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Republican Congressman James Comer is doing his own investigation as chair of the House Oversight Committee and tells Fox.
Any premise where the president has spent any amount of time needs to be searched, and I wouldn't rule out searching anywhere where certain relatives of the Biden family, who we all know have been involved in the influence peddling schemes.
Comer's also investigating Hunter Biden's business dealings. They're still unsettled in California by Saturday's mass shooting.
It's kind of mind-boggling, right? This morning I was trying to process everything and it was overwhelming.
10 people were murdered, including the owner of the dance studio where it happened. 10 others were wounded. The gunman's motive is unknown. He's dead after he was found in a van in Torrance yesterday.
Authorities who responded to the scene described hearing one gunshot, and inside they found the suspect dead. That suspect, they say, is 72-year-old Hukan Tran, who police believe acted alone.
Fox's Madeline Rivera in Monterey Park, where the shooting ruined Lunar New Year celebrations. Ukraine may get a new weapon to fight Russia's invasion. Poland will ask Germany for permission to send German-provided Leopard battle tanks. Tax season is underway. The IRS, which Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says needs to be completely redone, is starting to accept returns today.
The IRS has taken steps to improve service, hiring more than 5,000 workers to help taxpayers who call, and they've added more in-person staff as well.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The due date's later this year, April 18th, because of a weekend followed by a Washington, D.C. Monday holiday. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Snow is coming. It's cloudy now, 31 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A winter weather system expected to move into Indiana by late Tuesday night, bringing with it lots of snow. Meteorologist Randy Bowers with the National Weather Service.
For the most part, it looks like the accumulating snow should be over with by the time we get to late Wednesday.
He expects the storm to leave around 4 inches of snow behind in most places. Lake effect snow could increase those totals the further north you go. 2 men killed in a crash now on the south side overnight, and police believe that alcohol may have played a role. They say the driver of one of the cars was speeding down Meridian, where he ran a red light at Southport Road and smashed into the side of another car, killing a passenger inside that one. To pass a constitutional amendment in Indiana, a bill has to go through a lot of scrutiny.
Under our Constitution, to make any changes, the amendment has to pass 2 consecutively elected general assemblies and then go to the ballot in the following general election to be approved by the voters.
State Senator Eric Cook on Indy Politics. His bill to reform Indiana's bail process will go through that whole process. The bill would give judges more leeway in deciding on bail in criminal cases. There's a shipwreck in the Ohio River near Mockport, Indiana, in Harrison County that you may not know about.
Steamboat Alice Dean was captured by Morgan and used to transport his troops across the Ohio River. And when he was finished, he scuttled the boat and burned it to the deck.
Clarence Merck talking to Wish TV. He's leading an effort to salvage the sunken steamboat. Merck wants the U.S. Navy to raise it so a museum can be set up. Divers last spotted the wreck of the river in 2014. Merck is fearful, though, that looters and the elements may take the ship soon. The Indianapolis Colts have interviewed 13 candidates to be their next head coach. According to the NFL Network, the team will schedule a handful of second interviews for finalists in person this week. Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan, Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, and Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen are said to be among some of the favorites to land the job. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Does runaway inflation and reckless spending in Washington have you worried about the security of your hard-earned retirement savings? If so, it's time to call the precious metals experts at Fisher Capital. Fisher Capital specializes in helping investors like you diversify their retirement portfolio and preserve wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're looking to acquire coins or bars, open a gold IRA, or just want to learn more about the advantages of owning precious metals, Fisher Capital will equip you with the knowledge to make an informed decision that's right for you and your family. Call Fisher Capital today at 800-376-4333. That's 800-376-4333. Mention WIBC when you call to get a free no-obligation investor kit. 800-376-4333. 800-376-4333. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Don't lose another night's sleep worrying about the security of your retirement savings. Call Fisher Capital. 800-376-4333.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. And you know, Casey, we've been talking a lot lately about how much money we as taxpayers are spending to buy a whole bunch of land out there in Boone County without necessarily a whole lot of vision on exactly what's going to happen with that.
There's been a proposed high-tech park.
Right, and that is part of a much bigger plan by the state of Indiana through the Indiana Economic Development Corporation to spend a whole bunch of money. And we as taxpayers are told, well, you're going to make a whole bunch of money in the long run because, well, that's going to pay off with big business and big jobs. And there was an article in the Indiana Capital Chronicle by our good friend Nikki Kelly about just that, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. How are they doing? What sort of rate of return are we getting on our investment? And Nikki Kelly joins us now on the DriveHubler.com hotline. So, Nikki, I thought this article was really interesting. A lot of money getting spent, but not necessarily a lot of clarity on the results thus far from the IEDC. Easy enough for me to say.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to really point out that they are asking for a lot of money this budget cycle, even more than usual. And, we have supermajorities of both the House and Senate on the Republican side. And I just find it interesting that none of these Republicans seem concerned that we're spending all this money to bring jobs. I mean, I thought that the idea was the private sector is supposed to do this, right? Capitalism. Let the private sector take the risk and make these things happen, but that's not what's going on. And I realize that's a thing nationwide, and we're having to keep up with other states that are doing this, but we're just seeding everything with state money, and no one seems to mind.
Yeah, Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle is our guest. She has a great article out about the Indiana Economic Development Corporation and the amount of money, taxpayer money, that is going for various economic projects across the state. So the ask this session is, and this is no small amount of change here, Nikki, it's $1 billion the IEDC wants.
Yeah, and that's not even the full ask. There's their basic budget. These are sort of special things on top of their base level budget, right? So we want the biggest amount is $500 million for what they call READY grants, which is a quality of place initiative. We did $500 million of them last year, but that was with federal money from the CARES Act. So now they want $500 million of state money to do this, and I get it. Like it's kind of like an 80-20 match. Like private sector and local governments have to put in far more than the state is putting in. So that is growing investment. But, we also did regional cities back in the day. I mean, this will be like $1.3 billion that we've done to sort of seed these special projects to try to make Indiana more, I guess, attractive to workers, because this is about people wanting to live here and take the jobs that we're creating.
Now, is this... Go ahead. Is the 1.3 in addition to the 150 million and the 500 million, or is that all part of the 1.3 billion?
The 1.3 is all the quality of play stuff. So that includes this new 500 million. Separately, they want this 150 million you just brought up is a site acquisition. What they're doing up there in Boone County is we're using a bunch of state money to buy up